If you want to be seen as powerful, respected, and confident, your words have to match your ambition. In today's video, we are breaking down how to communicate like the top 1%, the elite leaders, the CEOs, and the billionaires. I will go deep into 5 key categories. The first one is a difficult one. Stop speaking to be liked and start speaking to lead. The top 1% don't speak to get approval. They speak to lead. Here's what that means. First is clarity over complexity. They don't try to sound smart with big words. They speak simply and clearly. Clarity is confidence. Decisiveness. Wealthy leaders don't hedge every sentence with, I don't know, maybe, we could do this instead. That's not how they talk. Instead of saying, hey, can I check this? Do you have any moment or any time? Say, can we review this now? Own the room with silence. When they speak, they pause. They are not rushing to fill every sentence. Silence is power. So if you want to sound more confident, be able to pause and let silence do the work for you. Here's a little exercise that I did to help me get rid of my filler words like and maybes. Record yourself explaining your idea in 60 seconds, then cut out all the filler words and find the things that you don't want to talk about, like the ums, maybes, or I don't knows. This will instantly help you sound a lot more like a leader and prove to everyone that you are confident. My second tip is use your emotions strategically. Top communicators know something that the average people don't know. People don't remember facts. They remember feelings. So how do you instill that emotion while also making sure that you don't come off as emotional, because that can be seen as clouded judgment? Oftentimes, you need to speak to a deeper why. Instead of just saying, this product is great, speak to the emotion behind why it's great. The product will save you time, which then in turn is freedom to do what you want with that saved time. Now you are selling to them that it is freedom, not just your product is great, it's because it gives you freedom to do what they want to do. The 1% don't just use logic, they use emotion and then back it up with logic. As well, you need to have a controlled passion. They show emotion, but it is measured. Too much emotion causes you to lose credibility, but too little makes you forgettable. The sweet spot is finding restraint with passion. And finally, you need to mirror the room's energy and elevate it. What I mean by this is don't just follow what everybody else is feeling in that room. If somebody's feeling anxious, don't try to match them with more anxiety. You need to be the emotional leader in that room to be in control of the situation. Your voice is a tool. You need to use your tone, pace, and emphasis to be able to emotionally charge your words. My third tip is you need to demand authority without asking for it. The wealthiest people in this world don't ask for permission or respect. They command it. The first part of this section is putting your body before your words. How you carry yourself is the first thing that people will see when you walk into a room, before you say anything. That is why it's extremely important to have a good posture, chin up, don't fidget, almost carry yourself with confidence. The next one is holding eye contact. Now, when you are talking to someone, you need to hold the eye contact for a second or two longer than it seems comfortable, because this establishes dominance, but not in a threatening way. Speak last in a group. Power does not rush. They wait, they listen, and they are patient. They wait their turn to speak, and they do not interrupt. Don't over-explain your ideas. The 1% make bold statements, but they do not back it up unless somebody asks them to explain why they chose that. Explaining too much can be seen as insecurity. Now, the fourth tip that I have is mastering the art of questions. This is where the elite really stand out. They ask powerful questions. Questions shift power. The person asking questions is in control and steering the conversation. They're in control, even though they are speaking less. The 1% ask how and why. They go deeper in their questions than most people do. You can also use silent questions through, your posture, like raising an eyebrow or making a puzzled look on your face. That way you don't have to say anything, but it keeps the other person talking. Flipping the frame. So what I mean by this is, instead of giving your opinion on a statement somebody else just said, be curious and ask, why do you think that? It gives you insight about the other person and also makes you seem like you are thoughtful instead of reactive. And then finally, my 5th tip is don't overshare. One of the biggest mistakes that average communicators make is that they talk too much, especially about themselves. The 1% protect their energy, their time, and their information. They don't vent about how bad of a day they've been having publicly. They may say that behind closed doors, but they never vent about anything currently going on publicly. They practice what's called measured transparency. So what this means is they will share a story, but for a purpose, for a reason. They don't overshare about personal things that they don't want out in the public. They let other people wonder. A little mystery builds intrigue. This keeps people hooked and wanting to learn more about you. When you tell them everything about your personal life, that removes intrigue. Now this one kind of ties back to what I talked about earlier, but they don't fear silence. Oversharing can often be seen as insecurity in yourself. And so if you overshare, you're now basically telling these people that you're insecure in yourself. Silence, on the other hand, shows comfort in yourself, in your own skin, and in the position that you are in. Here's a phrase that I used to help me. Say what you mean and leave them wanting more. All right, let's recap the 5 key categories to speak like the 1%. They speak to lead, not to please. They use emotions intentionally and not reactively. They command respect without chasing it. They ask questions that reveal depth and guide conversations. And they never overshare. They build mystery and discipline. I want to challenge you all to choose one of these 5 categories and focus on it for a week and see if you can improve and see how people react when you've changed. No one is born with good communication skills. It is a skill. You practice it, you learn, and you sharpen your tools. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck.